Welcome, and thank you for joining this session from Neybor Consulting. Federal contracting is one of the largest and most reliable buyers on the planet, but it is also one of the most competitive. Today, I am going to walk you through a step-by-step playbook for improving your win rate. This is not theory. These are the same plays our team uses with clients pursuing contracts across civilian and defense agencies. By the end of this session, you will have a clear, repeatable framework you can apply to your very next opportunity. Let's get started. Let's set the stage. The federal government obligated about $759 billion in contract awards in fiscal year 2024. That is an enormous market, and it is one of the most stable buyers you can serve. But it is also extremely crowded. There are over 11 million active entity registrations in SAM. Gov and the median first-year entrant wins only about 6% of the proposals they submit. Look at the chart on the left. Win rates climb steeply with maturity. Top quartile performers convert nearly 30% of pursuits, and best-in-class firms hit 40% or more. Here is the key insight on the right. That gap is not luck, and it is not relationships alone. It is method. It is a repeatable, disciplined capture and proposal process. That is exactly what we will build over the next 10 steps. Think of win rate the way an investor thinks of compounding. On the left, I've plotted annual revenue against win rate for a firm that submits 40 qualified proposals a year at an average value of $1.5 million. Move from a 5% win rate to 20%, and your revenue does not just quadruple. Your bid and proposal cost per award drops, your team gets stronger, and you build the past performance footprint that earns you the next contract. On the right are 3 multipliers that compound on top of revenue. Better revenue per B&P dollar, stronger ability to attract and retain top capture talent, and the most valuable asset in this market, past performance citations that strengthen every future proposal. Improving your win rate is not a marketing project. It is the single highest leverage investment you can make in this business. Here is the entire playbook on one slide. We organize the work into 3 phases: position, pursue, and propose, and perfect. In position, you decide where to play. Market intelligence, your registrations and certifications, and your capability statement. In pursue, you build what it takes to compete. Past performance and teaming, pre-RFP engagement with the customer, and disciplined bid-no-bid decisions. In propose and perfect, you execute on the proposal itself. Writing to win, pricing to win, color team reviews, and finally the debrief that fuels your next win. We will spend a few minutes on each of the 10 steps. Importantly, the steps compound. A weak capability statement at step 3 makes step 5 harder. A skipped color team review at step 9 can erase the discipline of steps 1 through 8. Treat the playbook as a system, not a checklist. Step 1 is market intelligence, and it is the single biggest predictor of win rate. On the left is the research stack every serious federal contractor should be running. SAM.gov for active solicitations, USSpending.gov for 5 years of obligation history, FPDS for historical award detail, including pricing and competition, agency forecasts, like the DHS Acquisition Planning Forecast System, for a 12 to 24-month look ahead, subscription tools like GovWin or Bloomberg Government for pipeline intelligence, and critically, industry days and RFIs, where you hear directly from the customer and can sometimes shape the requirement. On the right is the discipline that turns research into action, a simple opportunity fit score. Score every potential pursuit 1 to 5 on 6 factors: mission alignment, past performance, incumbent vulnerability, relationship strength, set-aside fit, and budget realism. Anything below 18 gets a no bid. The takeaway at the bottom is the rule we live by. Maintain a qualified pipeline of 3 to 5 times your revenue target and pursue only the top third. Quality of pipeline beats quantity every time. Step 2 is administrative, but absolutely essential. Federal buyers can only buy from firms that are registered, properly coded, and credentialed. The flow at the top is the sequence you should follow. Start with your unique entity ID through sam.gov. That replaced DUNS in 2022. Complete your full entity registration in SAM and renew it every year. Pick 5 to 10 NAICS codes that match your true capability and your size standard. Do not overselect. It dilutes your positioning. Then certify, but only for designations you genuinely qualify for. Finally, get listed and positioned everywhere the buyer searches: the dynamic small business search, GSA schedules, GWA eligibility, agency-specific vendor portals. Below, the common pitfalls: selecting too many NAICS codes, letting SAM lapse, claiming a set-aside you don't actually qualify for, missing SBA size standard updates, and the Neybor best practices: anchor on a primary NAICS that matches at least 70% of your target pursuits, get on a schedule before chasing task orders, sequence your certification strategically, and audit your SAM profile every 90 days. Step 3. Your capability statement. Think of it as a one-page elevator pitch designed for a 30-second scan. A contracting officer often has 90 of these on the desk, and they will give yours about that much time before deciding whether to read further. On the left is an illustrative example: header with logo and a single-line value proposition. Core competencies: past performance with marquee customers and quantified results. Differentiators that are concrete and measurable. Codes and certifications front and center. And a contracting point of contact that is a real human. On the right is the anatomy in detail. Notice how every section is engineered to answer one question for the buyer: can I trust this firm to deliver? And is buying from them low risk? And the pro tip at the bottom is important. The best contractors do not have one capability statement. They have agency-specific versions. A DHS document and a VA document should look noticeably different, speaking to different missions, different vehicles, and different past performance. Step 4. Past performance and teaming. Past performance is the single most heavily weighted non-price factor in most federal evaluations, usually 20 to 40% of the technical score. Look at the donut on the left. In a typical best value trade-off, technical approach is around 35%, past performance 30%, management plan 15%, and price 20%. If you have no past performance, you cannot win, and you cannot build past performance without winning. The way out of that chicken and egg problem is teaming. 4 ways to do it. First, subcontract on a prime's team and build CPAS citable work without taking on prime risk. Second, joint ventures with a complementary partner, including the SBA Mentor Protégé JV, which lets a small protégé inherit a mentor's past performance for proposal purposes. Third, the formal Mentor Protégé program itself, which provides past performance affiliation. Fourth, cite relevant commercial work. Many evaluations accept it, especially in IT, professional services, and cyber. The worked example at the bottom is real. A service-disabled veteran-owned client used a Mentor Protégé joint venture to cite $84 million of relevant past performance and won their first $12 million prime award in year 2 of the relationship. Step 5 is the single most underestimated step in all of government contracting. Industry studies and our own client data both show that 70 to 85% of awards go to firms the buyer already knew before the RFP was released. The implication is brutal. If the first time the customer hears your name is the day they download your proposal, you have already lost. The timeline at the top of the slide is the capture cadence we coach. 18 months out, identify your target and open a formal capture file. 12 months out, request a capability briefing with the program office. 9 months out, respond substantively to RFIs and sources sought notices. This is your chance to shape the requirement. 6 months out, attend the industry day, submit substantive questions, and lock in your teaming and pricing strategy. 2 months out, well before the RFP drops, your pink team materials, compliance matrix, win themes, and competitor ghosts should already be in writing. At the bottom, remember the trade. The buyer needs credibility, confidence in competition, and insight from you. You need their priorities, their acquisition strategy, and a read on whether your differentiators map to what they will value. Capture is not selling. It is mutual qualification. Step 6. Bid, no bid discipline. Saying no is the most underrated win rate lever in this industry. Every bad bid burns your bid and proposal budget and exhausts the team that needs to win the next one. On the left is the decision tree we coach. 4 gating questions. Do we know the customer well, ideally for 12 or more months? Do we have past performance that matches the scope? Can we credibly win the technical evaluation? And can we price competitively and still earn a fair margin? Any single no should trigger a no bid, or a hard conversation about what would have to change. On the right is a quantitative version of the same idea. P-win score in. Below 15%, no bid, no exceptions. 15 to 30, re-evaluate after capture activities. 30 to 50, bid only if it is strategically important and assign a senior capture lead. 50 to 70, full pursuit with mandatory color team reviews. Above 70, top priority, invest to win. The 70% rule at the bottom is our governing principle. Spend your capacity making your top 3 pursuits unbeatable instead of being adequate on 10. Step 7, right to win. I want you to remember 3 C's: compliant, compelling, and customer-centered. Compliant means every Section L and Section M requirement is addressed in the order the evaluators expect, and it is verified by a compliance matrix like the one on the right. Non-compliance is the most common reason for elimination, and it is entirely preventable. Compelling means your win themes, your discriminators, and your ghosts of the competition appear on the first page of every volume. Evaluators score what they can find. If your strongest argument is buried in Section 3, you are choosing not to be evaluated on it. Customer-centered means writing in the customer's mission language. Reference their strategic plan, their priorities, their KPIs by name. On the right is an example of a compliance matrix. Every Section L requirement, every volume and page reference, every status check. Below the matrix, 3 writing disciplines. Action captions on every graphic. A 2-sentence theme statement open in every section that names the benefit to the customer. And repeat win themes verbatim across volumes. Repetition is how evaluators internalize your discriminators. Step 8, price to win, not price to earn. This is the discipline that loses more bids than anything except non-compliance. Most firms build their price by starting with their cost and adding margin. That is price to earn. And it produces uncompetitive bids in a market that is becoming more price sensitive every year. Price to win starts somewhere different. It starts with the customer and the competition. Look at the chart on the left. We have estimated, using FPDS data, what each of our 4 likely competitors has won similar scope for. Their average awards range from $11.4 to $14.8 million. Our target price is $11 million, set at the 25th percentile of likely competitor bids. Aggressive, but defensible. On the right, the 5-step process. Define the customer's likely independent government cost estimate, the should cost. Build a model for each competitor, their probable labor mix, rates, and indirects. Set your target price at the 25th percentile. Then, and this is the critical move, engineer your solution to fit the target price instead of letting the cost dictate the price. Finally, get executives to sign off on the target price and margin floor before writing begins. That prevents the dreaded last-minute pricing panic. Step 9, color team reviews. Authors cannot see their own gaps. We get too close to the page to evaluate it like a real reviewer would. Color teams solve that. 4 teams, 4 checkpoints, 4 very different questions. Pink team runs at 30 to 40% complete. The question is, are the win themes and discriminators showing up where the evaluator will look? Red team runs at 75 to 85% complete. This is the full evaluator simulation. Reviewers score the draft using the actual Section M factors and write scoring notes as a real evaluator would. Gold team runs on the final draft. Senior executives verify the response is on message, compliant, compelling, and that residual risk is acceptable. White team is post-submission. It captures lessons learned and the reusable artifacts that will accelerate your next pursuit. And the bottom takeaway is essential. Schedule these dates on the kickoff calendar. Not as nice to haves, but as immovable milestones. A missed red team is the #1 predictor of a non-compliant submission. Do not let it happen. Step 10, debrief, learn, and iterate. This is the step 9 out of 10 contractors skip, and it is the step that separates serial winners from one-time winners. Every loss is intelligence. Every win is a template. The compounding asset of a top federal contractor is its learning loop. 4 moves on this slide. Number 1, request a debrief within 3 days of the award notice. Federal regulations entitle you to one. Number 2, capture the lessons in writing. Strengths, weaknesses, scoring narrative, and verbatim evaluator quotes. Number 3, update your playbook. Refresh your win themes, your templates, your pricing models, and your past performance citations to reflect what you just learned. Number 4, act before the next bid. Apply every lesson to the very next capture plan within 30 days. And the takeaway at the bottom is one of the best returns in this business. Firms that formally debrief every pursuit improve their win rate by 3 to 5 percentage points within a year, and 8 to 12 points by year 3. That is a doubled win rate, earned by no more than 30 minutes of disciplined reflection per bid. Let's bring it all together. Each step we covered is a win rate lever. Apply just one, and you might see a modest lift. Apply them together as a system, and the gains compound. The chart on the left illustrates that compounding for a typical Neybor client. They start at around 7%. Market intelligence and disciplined fit scoring lift them 2 points. Clean registrations and certifications add another point. A sharper capability statement adds 2 more. Targeted teaming and past performance work adds 3. Pre-RFP engagement adds 4 more points. By far the largest single lever. Bid-no-bid discipline adds 2 by focusing resources on winnable pursuits. Writing to win and pricing to win each add 2 more. Color teams add 1. And the debrief and iterate loop adds the final point and locks in everything you have built. The result on the right is a roughly 3.9 times improvement in win rate compared to baseline. But the bigger payoff is what that does to the rest of the business. Bid and proposal cost per award drops by 60 to 70%. Past performance compounds annually, and the backlog and predictability of revenue both improve dramatically. This is the prize. And that brings us to the end of the playbook. You now have the 10 steps: market intelligence, register and certify, capability statement, past performance and teaming, pre-RFP engagement, bid-no-bid discipline, right to win, price to win, color team reviews, and debrief and iterate. The work is not glamorous, but it is teachable, repeatable, and reliable. If you would like help applying it to your business, we would love to talk. Book a complimentary 30-minute consultation with the Neybor Consulting team at neyborconsulting.com. We will walk through your pipeline, score your top 3 pursuits, and identify the 2 highest impact levers you can pull in the next 90 days. Thank you for your time today, and good hunting on your next pursuit.